सभी को मेरा नमस्कार. Very good afternoon. Hope you're rejuvenated after that hot warm cup of tea or coffee. But, so now we'll go to the last session. Typically, last but not the least, as I say, we talked about a lot of the ideas of how my case is formed. But really, if we want to make these fundamental changes, as Baba Dayom, he was a Senegalese forest engineer in 1968. He came to an environmental conference in this very place, in New Delhi. Then one of the things he said was that we will not conserve something that we do not understand. And we will not understand something that we do not love. And we will not love something until we are taught about it. We do not understand, and we do not understand something until we are taught about it. So what is there in something we teach? So it is in that perspective that this 21st century education is going to be taught. And as Mataji just said in the session before this, that IKS is not theoretical concept, simply. And also Mukulji in the morning mentioned that this is a parampara, this is a Ganga Pravaha of Jnana. And when you think about it from that perspective, and how, and as Mataji was saying, it is relevant to even today's problems. Coming from a sustainability, systems resilience, and systems analysis perspective, which is my core area of research, I can tell you that in the next 20 to 30 years, 20 to 30 years, we are going to face huge crisis worldwide. And as Sai Dipikji was mentioning, part of the problem is some of the Western concepts, like the capitalist systems. We are seeing that, the inequalities in capitalist systems, the failure of the communist systems, all those systems. They don't really work, and there is a new way that we basically bring, and that is an Indian way, which brings about harmonious, sustainable, and peaceful development for them. And to do that, we need to educate our children. And how do we do that in the 21st century? So these issues, for example, even if you think about something as concrete as intellectual property rights, the way that we in India used to look at intellectual property rights is very different from the way that the current IPR regime is, which is currently, you can see that it's not functional for a majority of the people who are poor or in the middle class, because medicines are getting ridiculously expensive. Especially you will see that debates in the US and all these places. And people are patenting health, people are patenting the seeds, plants. I mean, how can we can't even think about it. But then on the other hand, in India, we had very different view of these things. For example, if you look at Ayurveda, which is a public good, we had a thing that if somebody has a adhikara, they can go and learn from a guru. And that is publicly available knowledge. Whereas, if you are talking about something like a technique like animalizing cotton, or zinc distillation, or some other technique like that, block printing in textiles, those were preserved. Just like we had these jhatis that used to preserve this technology as a proprietary knowledge, as we call it. I mean, today we are all drinking Coca-Cola, but we don't know the exact formula. That's the proprietary knowledge. That is how this used to be guarded in our day. So this is a different way of thinking that we can actually provide. So the point is that the idea is for bringing those changes, we need to educate those leaders, and that can only happen, as Mataji was saying earlier, that if samskaras are put in the right place at the right time. And that is where the education comes in. So it is we are in a world with shrinking resources, increasing populations, and tremendous amounts of challenges, social, political, natural, ecological, all kinds of things. And it is in that context that the IKS is not something that was there, but is something that will contribute. And it is in that context, maybe if we can have a discussion. We have a very learned and distinguished panel today. And I would like to request Bharatji to start off with your comments on your thoughts about how we take this forward in the 21st century, especially in the IKS 21st century. Thank you.
Shri Guru Bhyo Namah, the chairman of the session, sir, my learned colleagues in this discussion today, dear friends of Rashtram and some others very senior friends sitting here. I'm extremely glad that I have this opportunity to say a few things about a subject about which I have been confused about all my life. I have been confused because I have been some sort of a teacher, teaching at one university and thinking about where I am not able to give as much as I should have given, or achieve and transmitted as much as I should have imparted in order to be free of the rina, or the debt that I had to my gurus, because all my life I had great illustrious teachers. So that is a pain that most of us who are concerned with education carry. And the nation itself has that anxiety and deep anxiety, and how to come out of it for the 21st century. Now, you see, most of these problems have come up in the British time. Now, I'm not going into an Aranya Rodhan against Macaulay. I'm not going to anything of that sort. But I'm just going to indicate that even during the period of Islamic dominance, the Indian systems of education continued in however fragmented manner, in largely their old pattern. You know, whatever was the pattern, and however weak it became with the lack of proper patronage and proper implementation, the loot and the plundering for 700 years, in spite of that. But the radical change took place in the British time when something very significant was wiped out. And what was wiped out was every kind of connection with the ritual, the art, and the practical living of the people of all sections of society, right from the rich, right from the highly educated, to the middle class, right to the poor. Education had nothing to do with it. Education was just meant to serve in an office. And unfortunately, this was repeated after the transfer of power in 1947. Now, if you are going to have an education for the people of this land, you cannot go back. Literally, you cannot go back, because that economy has disappeared. We are in a highly, not just post-industrial, we are now in a digital society. And it's a global society. And so we cannot have the kind of infrastructure that we used to have once upon a time. I mean, I frequently get calls from people, who are very flattering to me, and they think I have the answer, and they say, Acharya ji, Vedic education kaise hoga, bataiye. You know, the common people of our country still believe that there was something very valuable, although they have no idea of even what Indian life was 500 years ago or 1,000 years ago. But they still have faith in it. And that is also a search that most of us who are deeper thinking about it have. Now, what we have to see is basic planning according to certain values, and then adjust according to the practical possibilities and the systems. Of course, People would say that should we imitate the West or should we go against the West? Should we look at what is happening in Europe and America where the family has disappeared virtually, where religious life has disappeared? All those issues are there. But practically, what was essential to Indian education, let us say, till 700 AD? First thing, that anybody who had education even at home could have a living, ajivika. And this ajivika was not just possible because of varnashram dharma, that you follow what your father did, etc., etc., as still some of our rather orthodox preachers still talk about. But it was there. Whether you became very proficient in it, moderately proficient, but at least you could earn a living. In modern education, even when you are 30, you don't know how to earn a living. You are not sure. Unless you have chosen a very mechanical way. कि साहब मैं तो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट में दाखिला ले लिया स्कूल BA करके और अब बस मैं ये करूँगा. So unless you choose a very simple slot like this or go into army, etc., average. Now this has to be remedied first thing. And this was the great disease which was imparted to us by the British. Don't give any proficiency in a profession moderately for education. This was the first thing. And we are continuing with it today. So, the first thing is that right from school, all across India, we have to ensure that when somebody passes out, a girl or a boy, or a third gender, okay, let me just mention it for the satisfaction of some, that person should have the ability to earn a living. Now, I'm talking of the average person. I'm talking of what you may call the working classes, because they are the maximum number of people. So by class 12, there are hundreds of professions in which we'll have to give them training in different parts of the country in different methods. It cannot be very simple. Some people in UGC or some people in AICTE just make diagrams and say that do it. No, it cannot be like NCERT or any other thing. It has to be worked out in so many professions. This is one simple thing and this has to be given to everybody. Because we have this bias that if I am well-to-do, what will I do with vocational education? 30 years ago, when I recall, there was a huge debate in the country about vocational education, and they just fizzled out because nobody was serious. Because everybody who had some importance thought that their children don't need any vocation. Their children will get a specialized job, they will get a high-level job, and they'll fool the common people, the poor people, to aspire to become an engineer or an IAS officer. And still, the politicians are working on the formula that we will provide so many institutes for Muslims to become IAS officers, so many for this, so many for that. We are still following that. You have to be very realistic. Provide a skill which you start teaching from class 6th. You teach for 7 years. Maybe somewhere you will teach fishing, somewhere you will teach computer, somewhere you will teach medicine, somewhere you will teach some local Ayurveda, somewhere, according to the desh, kal, according to the place. Very practical thing, it has to be worked out so that people are able to make a living. And I tell you, this has a great potential for India becoming important in rest of the world. Why? 10 years from now, Japanese are going to ask hundreds and thousands of people to come to their country to take up jobs. If you have well-trained people in 20 or 30 professions, you can provide them along with Japanese language. This is one example. There are so many examples. This is the first thing, and this has to be given in very practical terms in modern knowledge or systems of earning a living. There is no question here of Indian knowledge system or Western knowledge system, because repair of a computer is a repair, catching fish is a very modern activity, and so on and so forth. Now, the rest for the mind. What are you going to teach to develop the mind, develop the morals, develop the relationship to other human beings? What you have to do in order to become useful citizens? And this is where the Indian knowledge systems come to your help. And I think that there should be a very clear division between some fundamental sciences, which can include some sciences of the ancient period or knowledge of that period, and research on that would have to be done not at the school level, but at the higher level, and through the arts. Very simple arts. Arts like music, dance, arts like making a good home, the 64 arts in Kama Sutra. I mean, they are very practical arts. You don't have to be ashamed of it. And you don't have to listen to stupid feminists in order to denigrate those arts, because they are which make your home a beautiful home. And they are practical things, and they can be taught professionally now at a very early stage, and they can continue into college and into PhD, but they have to start at the school. And this is where you can teach language. A language has to be taught with a sense of consciousness of the country and history, and not one language, but 2 or 3 languages, and in which Sanskrit should have an eminent place. Because there is no other language which can make you aware of any Indian knowledge system other than Sanskrit. It's nothing to debate about. It's a simple factual, and therefore it should be accepted. But in order to do this, we need something else. We need a radical constitutional reform. A constitutional reform from Article 25 to Article 30. उसके बिना ये नहीं होगा साहब. So long as you divide the nation between minority and majority, so long as you give right to so-called majorities, whether they are Muslims or Sikhs or Jains or Lingayats or whatever the new ones that can come up, you will not be able to implement anything which can be called All India or National or Rashtriya, which again is a national feature. These things are not a matter of imagination or Hindutva or some kind of a political philosophy. After all, when Gita Govind was written in one corner of the country, in your part of the country, within 200 years it influenced the rest of the country. And even to this day, in various languages, there are thumris and ghazals and this and that which draw upon that. Or when a text was written by Abhinav Gupta in Kashmir, then within 100 or 200 years, the manuscripts traveled right up to Kerala. So this has been happening. as an all India consciousness. And this cannot happen unless you give up this fragmentation of minority into minority and majority division. So as there is this book called Animal Farm by George Orwell. अब आपको पता है उसमें क्या लिखा है? All pigs are equal, but some pigs are more equal than others. तो पहली लाइन को हम फॉलो कर लें तो काफ़ी है, दूसरी लाइन को छोड़ दें. Let no pigs be more equal than others. Let all pigs be equal. Unless you do that, you will not be able to have an education system which will really deliver. And unless you provide a living by the age somebody passes out from school, because this is what happened in India for thousands of years. Everybody did not go to a Gurukul. Kyun Acharya ji? Only a few went to a Gurukul. और बनिए का बच्चा 12 साल में जाता था, ब्राह्मण का 8 में जाता था, वो भी नालायक ब्राह्मण का जाते ही नहीं था, वो रसोइया बन जाता था. तो it was provided. There was no primary school, there was no daycare school. Of course, we'll have to have all those things now, but the spirit should be maintained. And this is the simple, humble submission that I have to make. Thank you very much for listening to me. Pranam.
Thank you so much, Lakshmi. That was a very enlightening, that was a very enlightening points that you made. A few things that I was thinking about was, you said we need the Ajivika. That should be assured before we can think of anything else. Otherwise, if I don't have, even Buddha said the same thing. When the bhikshus came, apparently they wanted to teach the dharma, Bauddha dharma to some travelers. He said, feed them first. No, teach dharma before food. So similarly, we need to ensure that our Ajivika is there before we can even think of anything else. So I think that how, and then you also talked about how you can bring in IKS there to Ajivika is for the body, and then the IKS is essentially for the mind and the culture that we can develop. That I think is a very great point that you make. And the third point that you made, as I was listening to, was that we need to bring that Ekatmata Bhava. And trying to artificially divide this country into minorities, majorities, and all those things should be stopped. And then if we can bring that national consciousness, things will happen in a much more organic way. So thank you so much for those comments. And with that, I would like to go to Professor Mohab Rajani. And drawing upon your experience as a neurosurgeon, and now heading an institution, another institution, academic institution. So what would you say? How do we ensure the Ajivika and bring that in, and also bring in IKS? And also, of course, you know about our traditions in the Shruta, Ayurveda, and all the health traditions. So if you can please comment on those things in the education, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay. I think I thank Rashtraam and AICT and all our teachers, Anuradha and Dr. Richa. I think it's a very good initiative, and Indian knowledge system, we don't know how long. If we believe in Hinduism, Satya Yuga was 50,000 years, Treta Yuga was 12,000 years, Ram, Dwapar Yuga 11,000 years, and Kali Yuga more than 5,000 years. So the question is that this was all, Hinduism means a Hindu way of life. That is Veda, Vedanta, Samhita, and Samhita. What is Veda? Is knowledge. Knowledge has to quality, skill, and implementation. What is Vedanta? Vedanta is nothing but self, Atma, and Paramatma. And when you come to Upanishad, it's nothing but rules and regulation and its implementation. So there comes Samhita and Samhita. Charaka Samhita and Susuta Samhita means regulation and implementation. So the knowledge, skill, rules, regulation, and implementation. So where did we go wrong? If we go back 50 years, 60 years, let us say in my 70 years of life, when I was a child, in my house, there was Puran. My grandfather, we had Ashtadas Puran. In my high school, I read, when I had typhoid, I read Chandi Puran, Vishnu Puran, because there was nothing else to do. So, systematically our educational value has gone down because we had inculcated in the mind, education is for mark, knowledge, not knowledge based or skill based. It is only for employment and packages money. Higher education you do, better institute you go, private institute you go, you get a better fat package of money. Till the time our education is mark based and package based and employment based, we will not achieve the holistic development of the education. What was the basic concept of Indian system of education? To receive education from the family, from the society, from the school and colleges, throughout of life on a process of learning. For me, a doctor, what I read in MBBS 52 years back, if I apply that knowledge, you will not be treated for COVID. So, every continuously knowledge has to upgrade it depending on the requirement of the society, people and the current concept of what knowledge means to the society. So, when you ask about doctors, my books which I purchased 52 years back, I won't read many things because outdated. So, knowledge will come and go. So, what has gone wrong? Wrong is the way and rapidity in which knowledge has exploded in the society. We have been throwing so many knowledge to our students so rapid space, the brain gets confused. So, our knowledge which was quality based, skill based, holistic development based has become self-centered, mark based, package based and employment based. So, can we go from this sick attitude to a healthy attitude? Then come the Indian system knowledge, body, mind and soul. The entire Bhagavad Gita, which I have read maybe 100 times, because during my Jenu ceremony, my Nanaji gave me Bhagavad Gita in 1962. And in my MBBS career, I used to go to Satsanga of Self-Realized Society by Jogada Satsang Society. I went to Sivananda Ashram, Vivekananda Ashram, everywhere I want to see how you can get Indian knowledge system. So, knowledge system we are talking about school and colleges, it is only books, marks and packages. So, knowledge we have to have from family, from the society, from your day-to-day experience and a long process of learning. Now, come to what has gone wrong. Chanakya had said, Lalayant Pancha Barsani, Dasa Barsan Tadet. What is happening in Lalayat? We don't rear our children, but both parents are working. So, when the child cries, we give him cell phone for looking at the cartoon. And when the child comes to me with mental retardation, he can show you a cartoon, but he cannot tell 2 plus 2 is 4. If you would have seen Times of India write-off about February, January, in 8th class we were expecting subtraction and multiplication. The education has gone bad because parents are giving the education entirely on the hands of the teachers. But education, mother is the greatest teacher. That we have forgotten. Mother has no time. So, we have now default at parents level and the school level and society level. Now, what Chanakya had told, the Tada Dasabarsani, it is parents or the school or the ashram, you give them sanskar, rules, regulation and implementation. If a child doesn't know what is rules and regulations and implementation, he will not develop aptitude for learning and skill for developing his own improvement. And then praptato sodasha varsha. Why sodasha varsha? You think a man become matured for driving, for voting, for marrying at age of 18 years. So, our society had not too much changed so far the voting is concerned. So, driving license, the Chanakya what he said 2300 years back still, that the child will become matured at 16 years of age. We follow that. You get voting right, you get driving license. But what has happened? We have no learning. Because neither we are giving the ladan palan to child as a parent, we are not doing good parenthood. Nor we are giving good sanskar in the schools because we have no rules, regulation, discipline and implement. And when they come to higher education and medicine, engineering, we say they should have good human being. Good human being is not the product of a higher education. Good human being is a product of the society which is multiple and complex. Complex where the attitude is concerned, complex where the language is concerned, ethnicity is concerned, culture. So we are multicultural, multi-ethnic, multilinguistic, and multi-regional. My university has medicine, engineering, law, hotel management, agriculture, veterinary, everything. So multidisciplinary. So if I take one thing to one institute, another will not follow. So question is that how you developed education. You have to implement. If we look at the concept of remapping the education by new education policy, it comes quality education. That is Rig Veda, knowledge, pure knowledge. So Veda, which was written in Vedic Yoga, that is maybe about 3,500, 4,000 years back, is knowledge. Second comes how you do the practice. Practice puja, method, homa, havan, that came Yajur Veda. Then came the Sam Vedas. What is Sam Veda? Entertainment. Life is a mixture of knowledge, concept, discipline, honesty, relaxation, enjoyment, and health. So the if you see system, Ruk Veda, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda is nothing but Gandharva Veda. What is Gandharva? Entertainment, enjoyment, relaxation, stress management, and then Ayurveda, which is written 900 to 1200 BC or 1500 BC. What is that? Life science. Lifestyle, good food, prayer for the good health, prayer for the long life, prayer for the healthy life, prayer for the peaceful life. So our Veda is Indian traditional education, which has gone. We have nothing. So how you inculcate? New education policy. First pillar is we have to quality, not quantity. Our 10 kg child carry 10 kg book. 5 kg child carry 7 kg book. So we are thinking education is the volume of books and bigger size of the notebooks. No. That is the reason Veda was called Shruti. The traditional transcension of knowledge and lifestyle from one generation to the other. Is it happening? You tell honestly. You are the parents or grandparents of your grandchildren or children. Have you transmitted from knowledges which you learned from your grandparents till today? मेरे पास लोग आते हैं 80 साल में, बोलते मैं सीख हूँ. मैं इनको पूछता हूँ क्यों सीख है, तब मुझे 100 किलोमीटर जाते हैं क्योंकि मुझे 1.5 लाख का पैकेज मिला है रिटायरमेंट के बाद. कि तुम 100 किलोमीटर क्यों जाते हो? मैं माइनिंग में काम करता हूँ, सुपरटेंडेंट होकर रिटायर कर उड़ीसा गवर्नमेंट से, मुझे 150 किलोमीटर जाना आना है. आई सेड योर sickness you think of what your grandfather had and what he did not have, what your father had and what he did not have, and what you have. And I say you are married, you are 80 years and your wife is 77 years, both the children well settled in America, you are retired as chief engineer. Why don't you sit at home and do something, meditation, practice, Bhagavad Pasana? Why do you run for money at age of 80 years? The question is that we have decided to be unhappy, unhealthy, unscientific, and indisciplined. So that is the reason Shivananda's student, Chidananda, wrote a very small book, Choice is Yours. How many people have children? Choice is there. There is a chapter called Life of the Spiritual Garden. Think your life, you have inculcated from childhood as a garden of spiritualism, where there are herbs, shrubs, flowers, fruits, ripe fruits. So if you think your life is a spiritual garden, what does it mean? Dedication, faith, sacrifice, devotion, and sacrifice. 5 aspects of spiritual garden. Let us all vow today for 1 minute, do you all practice a life of spiritual garden? So Indian concept of traditional education to develop a holistic development, which is the 4th pillar of new education policy. That think for yourself, think for the society, and think as a whole for a holistic development. So our education has to be such a mapped, such a design. Current education system, current NCERT course is not for holistic development. It is only for curriculum-based education, which can give a good mark and good packages. So we have to now develop content of good quality education. First, when content development. That is the reason lot of educational companies are telling we will have content development for your society, for your university content. Then how to teach them? Method of education. Current method education, make slide, give a 1 hour lecture. If you take 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes, so happy, but there is no time for cross reaction with the student. We have a more teacher speaking than student hearing and question answering. There is no bilateral dialogue. So you speak less, ask the student to ask you more question, whatever doubt. So there is no interaction between teacher and student. Third is quality education. We are now thinking most of the education in this country, either the teachers do not want to come because it's very low paid system. Teachers are the worstly paid government servant of the country. And to add to the problem, 40% teaching jobs across the university are vacant, and whatever vacant posts are there, government say take contractual teacher. What is contractual teacher? It is a daily wage laborer. Come and give one lecture, get 1,000 rupees. You cannot take more than 15 to 20 lectures a month. If that is the value, then we cannot have holistic development and quality-based, knowledge-based, innovation-based education. So our current education has to change from the grassroots level, from the school level, from the attitudinal difference level, for the content level, and mode of delivery level. So we have everything wrong. Content is wrong, method of teaching is wrong, the purpose is wrong, there is no holistic development. That is the reason first pillar of new education policy, quality. Second, innovation, research and skill based. Third is the holistic development. So we want Indian knowledge system for which Ram had gone to Vasishtha's ashram and Krishna had gone to Garbhamuni's ashram, not for only hearing how to run the bow and arrow. For a holistic development of human being, you have to have an ashram-like education where you see a guru from morning 4 o'clock from the Brahma Muhurta to going to bed. Then you see what teacher does. Is he not a hypocrite that he teach something and do something? If he teacher say, don't drink, it is bad for the liver. But the evening the student go to house and say they have a party in the faculty club. What are you going to learn? Be practical. Be practical. The question is that Gurukula Ashram was showing what the teacher teach, students see and learn from day-to-day experience. This is not happening. So if you think we are going to inculcate the habit of Gurukula, it's not going to ashram. But if you have content development, mode of operation, student-teacher dialogue, and holistic development, we will achieve something. And that is why new education policy say 2030, 2040, and 2050. And this is a very difficult term. We cannot achieve everything what we lost in 1,000 years in span of 10 years. The entire generation after generation we lost it, and it will take 50 years to rebuild it. I think that is my concept of rebuilding the Indian system of education, what you have lost over thousands of years. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Mahapatraji. That was a very, again, brought back some of the realism that is needed. And it showed that what has been, as you were just saying, what has been lost over 1,000 years cannot be built in like 10 years or so. It takes some time. And then you were also emphasizing those 5 elements. And then I was very struck by the comment that you made, discussion that you made about the spiritual garden, and then also saying that the choice is yours. That kind of responsibility, the ability to say that, okay, I'm responsible for how I build my life. I think that kind of thing can be developed very effectively. Essentially, it takes a village there is an African proverb, it takes a village to raise a child. So something like that. It takes the entire society to bring in the right samskaras and expose our students to the right samskaras at the right age, at the right time. And I cannot think of a better person to comment on these kind of issues, especially in the 21st century, than Adharaniya Jammu-Krishna Shastri Mahodaya. So, Mahodaya, if you can please comment a little bit on your experiences and also.
भाषा और ज्ञान दोनों अविभाज्य हैं अलग नहीं कर सकते हैं। अगर भारतीय ज्ञान चाहिए तो भारतीय भाषा अनिवार्य है। इसलिए अगर भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा का प्रचार करना है, प्रसार करना है, तो भारतीय भाषाओं में छात्रों को और अध्यापकों को प्रभुत्व होना अनिवार्य है। आज छात्र माध्यम कोई भी हो, मैं उसके बारे में नहीं बता रहा हूँ। भारत देश बहुभाषी देश है, हर छात्र हर नागरिक बहुभाषी होना चाहिए और अधिक भाषाओं में अधिकार होना चाहिए। देखिए, थोड़ा बोल पाते हैं जो अंग्रेजी माध्यम से पढ़ते हैं, वो मातृभाषा या प्रांतीय भाषा बोल पाते हैं, लेकिन पढ़ना लिखना नहीं आता। जब तक पढ़ना लिखना नहीं आता, वो भारतीय परंपरा का शोध कैसे करेंगे? अंग्रेजी में तो वो सेकेंडरी सोर्स है, मूल नहीं जा पाएंगे, अर्थ नहीं समझ पाएंगे। इसलिए हमें अगर भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा का पुनरुत्थान के संदर्भ में या प्रचार के संदर्भ में सोचना है तो समग्रता से सोचना चाहिए। केवल भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के विषय क्या क्या है इतना सोचने से नहीं पर्याप्त होगा। एक अनुकूल वायुमंडल देश में बनाना होगा और कुछ प्रेरक व्यवस्थाएं भी करना होगा हमें। तो ये एक विषय हो गया। दूसरा विषय, अभी 21वीं सदी में भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा की शिक्षा, ये विषय है। राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति में 2040 तक का लक्ष्य दिए हैं। 2040 तक भारत की शिक्षा विश्व स्तरीय होना है चाहिए, ये एक लक्ष्य दिया है। इसी प्रकार और भी कई बातें, समृद्ध भारत, समर्थ भारत और विश्वगुरु भारत की भी चर्चा है। तो इसके लिए जो शिक्षित जन शक्ति चाहिए, युवा शक्ति, तो ऐसे जनशक्ति की रचना के लिए भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा सोच रहे हैं। तो आज के भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के शिक्षा के संदर्भ में भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा का अगर हमें सोचना है तो इसका 4 स्तंभ ऐसे ही सामान्य रूप से मैं बता रहा हूं। एक विषय संग्रह, सम, 4 प्रकार के सम बता रहा हूं। संग्रह, संशोधन, संप्रेषण और संवर्धन। संग्रह यानी सभी मूलों से, आकर ग्रंथों से, जनों से, व्यक्तियों से, तज्ञों से, व्यवस्था से, अलग अलग प्रकार से ये ज्ञान निहित है। कृतियों में, ग्रंथों में ज्ञान निहित है। सामाजिक व्यवस्थाओं में, कुटुंब व्यवस्था, कई प्रकार के व्यवस्थाओं में ये ज्ञान निहित है। परंपरा के रूप में, आचारों के रूप में, कुल परंपरा, ग्राम परंपरा, आचार परंपरा, मंदिर परंपरा, कई प्रकार के ये परंपराएं हैं, उनमें भी कई प्रकार के ज्ञान निहित है। फिर सभी भारतीय भाषाओं में निहित है। कला के रूप में, कामगारी के रूप में कई प्रकार के ये ज्ञान है। इनका सभी का संग्रह। फिर उसके बारे में अभी सेकेंडरी सोर्सेस में यानी सामाजिक माध्यम में बहुत प्रकार के भाषण, लेखन कुछ भावोद्वेग के साथ थोड़ा उत्साह से बोल लेते हैं। तो इसमें सच्चाई से भी ज्यादा भाव का थोड़ा ज्यादा रहता है। तो उसका थोड़ा साफ करने के लिए, स्वच्छ करने के लिए संशोधन, उस प्रकार के संशोधन की आवश्यकता है। तीसरा, ये जो इसका योग्य परीक्षण के बाद फिर आज के युवाओं को और बच्चों को किस प्रकार बताना, उस प्रकार संप्रेषण करने की आवश्यकता है और विषय को आगे ले जाने का संवर्धन की, इस 4 प्रकार के काम हमें करना है। जितने भी अभी व्यवस्था परिवर्तन का मैं बात नहीं कर रहा हूं, स्कूल शिक्षा में परिवर्तन का, उच्च शिक्षा में परिवर्तन का या अन्य तकनीकी शिक्षा परिवर्तन का, ये मेरे हाथ में नहीं है। मैं ऐसा, मेरा सोच ऐसी है कि हम जहां जितने भी लोग हैं, हम हमारे हाथ में क्या है उसके बारे में सोचेंगे। कार्य योजना केंद्रित चिंतन करना चाहिए। हम क्या कर सकते हैं प्रत्यक्षतः। उदाहरण के लिए अभी 1 साल के बाद पाठ्य पुस्तकों का लेखन शुरू होगा। 1 साल के अंदर पाठ्यचर्या का निर्माण होगा, करिकुलम फ्रेमवर्क निर्माण होगा राज्यों में और अखिल भारत स्तर में। साल के बाद पाठ्यक्रम निर्माण शुरू होगा। अभी कई पाठ्य पुस्तकों का लेखन शुरू होगा। आधुनिक शिक्षा में आधुनिक विषयों के कितने भी धाराएं हैं, कितने भी विषय हैं, आप कितने भी कोर्सेस हैं, पाठ्यक्रम हैं, 100 से ज्यादा मुख्य धारा में 100 पाठ्यक्रम, पाठ्य विषय आप सूची बनाइए। हर एक विषय में प्राथमिक शिक्षा से स्नातकोत्तर शिक्षा तक हर कक्षा में उस विषय के प्राचीन भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा में क्या है, क्या हम आज और हर पुस्तक में, मान लीजिए 15 साल की अगर शिक्षा में कम से कम हम 12 साल की शिक्षा में कुल मिला के 5वीं कक्षा से शुरू करिए, 3री कक्षा से शुरू करिए, कहीं से भी 10-15 साल की शिक्षा में उस विषय में हर साल कुछ न कुछ 5 अंकों का, 10 अंकों का अगर भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा का पाठ देना है। अभी मेरे जानकारी के अनुसार देश में कहीं किसी के पास इस प्रकार का पाठ्यांश तैयार नहीं है। 1 साल के अंदर हम तैयार करके, उसके परीक्षण करके, ये सत्यापन करके ये हम पाठ में दे सकते हैं और अविवादित रीति से, फिर विवाद खड़ा न हो उस प्रकार इस विषय को आज के लोग स्वीकार करेंगे। इस प्रकार देने के लिए तैयारी सामग्री अभी कहीं नहीं है। अगर हम वास्तविक रूप से भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा के लिए अगर हम सब कुछ करना चाहते हैं, कुछ वास्तविक शिक्षा का मूलभूत काम करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन भाषण का काम नहीं, मूलभूत काम अगर करना चाहते हैं, तो एक एक व्यक्ति एक एक विषय लेके उस विषय के 10 साल का पाठ्यक्रम थोड़ा 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 10 साल में क्रमशः सोपान क्रम से क्या है वो काम हमें करना चाहिए। हर महाविद्यालय में प्राध्यापक और छात्र मिलके ये कर सकते हैं और ये कार्य केंद्रीकृत कार्य नहीं होना चाहिए, विकेंद्रीकृत कार्य होना चाहिए, पूरे देश में होना चाहिए। सभी भारतीय भाषाओं में ये काम होना चाहिए, सभी भारतीय भाषाओं में, अर्थात हर प्रांत में इस प्रकार का छोटे छोटे गुट बना के हर एक विषय के लिए एक एक गुट बनावे, एक एक विश्वविद्यालय में एक एक विषय लेके, एक एक संस्थान में एक एक विषय लेके, ऐसे विषय संग्रह करके उस सत्यापन करके पाठ्यांश के रूप में अगर तैयार करेंगे तो कुछ बनेगा परिवर्तन। वो अगर अभी 2 साल में अगर उस काम अगर नहीं करेंगे तो तुरंत करने का ये कार्य की ये आवश्यकता है। और भारतीय भाषा के संदर्भ में मेरा ये है, एक निवेदन है आपसे, आप सबसे। देखिए, माध्यम अंग्रेजी भाषा हो, फिर भी बहुत से शब्दों को अगर जैसे बोलते हैं ना नॉन ट्रांसलेटेबल को अंग्रेजी माने अनुवाद नहीं कर सकते हैं, ऐसे शब्दों को हम भारतीय शब्दों का ही अगर प्रयोग करते हैं तो मुझे लगता है तब ज्यादा लाभ होगा, अपार्थ का दूरीकरण होगा। और जब तक ये जो अभी अनुवाद से जो अर्थ का विकृतीकरण हुआ है, उसका अगर हमें ठीक करना है तो भारतीय शब्दों को फिर से व्यवहार में लाना है। छोटा सा विषय धर्म शब्द का, हम बोलते हैं धर्म इज नॉट रिलीजियन, लेकिन सभी भारतीय भाषाओं में रिलीजियन अर्थ में ही धर्म शब्द प्रयोग हम भी करते हैं। हम बोलते हैं भारत की विविधता में एकता, ये हमारी संस्कृति है, संस्कृति एक है। लेकिन पश्चिम के लोगों ने या वामपंथियों ने, अन्य लोगों ने जो बहु संस्कृतिवाद को रखे हैं, उसी वही हम भी बोलते हैं। हमारे शब्दावली जब तक हम नहीं बदलते हैं तब तक हम भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा को सही दृष्टि से हमारे लोगों को नहीं समझा सकते, क्योंकि मातृभाषा में उन्होंने अलग रीति से ही समझते हैं। और शोध करना है तो देखिए, एक शब्द का बहुत से अर्थ होते हैं, एक ही शब्द का। वेद शब्द सुनने से लोगों को ऋग्वेद, यजुर्वेद, सामवेद, अथर्ववेद, 4 वेदों का स्मरण होगा, लेकिन वेद शब्द के कितने अर्थ हैं, या ऐसे कई शब्द हैं, उसके बहुत अर्थ हैं, संदर्भानुसार इसके अर्थ अलग अलग होते हैं। तो उस प्रकार के उसकी शिक्षा करने के लिए महाविद्यालयों में प्राध्यापक लोग छात्रों को, अभी राष्ट्रीय शिक्षा नीति में भी कहा है कि शुरू से रिसर्च केवल पीएचडी लेवल पे, स्नातकोत्तर के बाद पीएचडी शोध करना नहीं है, शुरू से ही शोध संस्कृति का निर्माण करना चाहिए विद्यालय महाविद्यालय में। तो प्रोजेक्ट वर्क जो देते हैं, ऐसे कार्य संशोधन का छोटा छोटा हम प्रोजेक्ट वर्क देके छात्रों को इसके संदर्भ में वो शोध संस्कृति का निर्माण कर सकते हैं। भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा यह विषय ये एक नव्यता होना चाहिए, एक फैशन बोलते हैं ना, एक क्रेज, इस प्रकार के आकर्षक विषय वस्तु बनना चाहिए, उस प्रकार का वातावरण बनना चाहिए। और ये जो पढ़ते हैं भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा को ही मुख्य विषय लेके अगर पढ़ते हैं तो फिर उनको उससे भी रोजगार मिलना चाहिए। ऐसे कई चीजों के बारे में हमें सोचना चाहिए। कुल मिला के अंत में एक विषय, भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा को जनसामान्य तक, ज्ञान को जनसामान्य तक, वेद में, उपनिषदों में, पुराणों में, शास्त्रों में, स्मृतियों में, ग्रंथों में जो ज्ञान था, उस ज्ञान को जनसामान्य तक ले जाने के लिए, पहुंचाने के लिए कई प्रकार के व्यवस्थाएं समाज व्यवस्था में, कुटुंब व्यवस्था में लाए थे। तो उसके बारे में भी हमें सोचना होगा, उन व्यवस्थाओं को भी फिर से हमारे छात्रों को सिखाना होगा। और हर एक विषय अध्यात्म से जुड़ा था, फिर से अगर हम अध्यात्म से जुड़ेंगे, जोड़ेंगे, तब ही सही दृष्टि से भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा को हम समझ सकते हैं। बस शायद बहुत मैं बोला, एतावदेव उक्त्वा अहं विरमामि। मम हिंदी भाषा विषये मा चिन्तयतु, अहं तु सर्वदा संस्कृते वदामि। अतः यथा अहं सर्वदा जनानां समीपे निवेदनं करोमि, संस्कृते अपि भाषणस्य अभ्यासः करणीयः चेत् शुद्धम् अशुद्धं चिन्ता न करणीया, भाषणं करणीयं। निरन्तरं यदा भाषणं करोति अभ्यासः भवति इति। अन्ते मम एकमेव निवेदनं, संस्कृतं पठतु इति अहं न निवेदनं न करोमि, परन्तु भारतीयभाषाणाम् अभ्यासं करोतु। भारतीयज्ञानं सर्वभारतीयभाषासु निहितम् अस्ति। मराठी वाङ्मये ज्ञानमस्ति, तमिळ् वाङ्मये ज्ञानमस्ति, बंग वाङ्मये ज्ञानमस्ति, सर्व भारतीय तेलुगु वाङ्मये ज्ञानमस्ति। परन्तु उत्तरप्रदेशजनः तेलुगु वाङ्मये किं ज्ञानमस्ति न जानाति, तमिळ् वाङ्मये किं ज्ञानमस्ति इति महाराष्ट्रजनः न जानाति, मराठी वाङ्मये किं ज्ञानमस्ति इति हिमाचलप्रदेशजनः न जानाति। अतः तस्य सर्वस्य अपि अध्ययनस्य आवश्यकता अस्ति। तस्य सर्वस्य पुनरुत्थानं करणीयं, पुनः प्रचारः करणीयः। यदि तत् करिष्यामः तर्हि भारतं पुनः विश्वगुरुः भवति। नमो नमः।
Those are very, very inspiring words and call to action with specific things, strategies, and actual things to be done. Very action oriented, and I would have expected nothing else from somebody who has led this mass movement and had made Sanskritam as a Matrubhasha for many people across the globe, I would say. And with those words, and I would now say, going on to Dr. Patil, I would like to request you to please give your perspective from the NAC accreditation, and those things are important. Sometimes, the carrots are not enough, sticks are necessary. So this could be perhaps a way to think of it that way too. There are incentivizing ways we can think of. So if you can please comment on
अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुः उन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। मंच पर उपस्थित और मंच के सामने उपस्थित और जैसे वर्चुअल को शब्द नहीं है हिंदी में क्या अच्छा शब्द तो आभासी जग से जो ये इस कार्यक्रम को देख रहे हैं उन सारे गुरुओं को भी मेरा प्रणाम। अभी भी इन्होंने कहा कि सिर्फ गाजर से काम नहीं चलता, डंडा भी चलना चाहिए, तो इन्होंने शायद मुझे डंडा चलाने के लिए बुला लिया है, क्योंकि जिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को मैं रिप्रेजेंट करता हूँ, नेशनल असेसमेंट एंड एक्रेडिटेशन काउंसिल, राष्ट्रीय मूल्यांकन एवं प्रत्यायन परिषद, जिसका ये जो भाषांतर है ये कोई इस्तेमाल नहीं करता, हमेशा नैक ही कहते हैं, तो उसे का ऐसा समझा जाता है कि नैक ने बहुत सारे परिवर्तन इस देश में हायर एजुकेशन के बारे में किए हैं, वो कर पाई है। इसका एक महत्वपूर्ण कारण है कि नैक के असेसमेंट के फ्रेमवर्क में बहुत सारी चीज़ें हमने इस तरह से डाल रखी है और वी कंटिन्यूसली अपग्रेड दैट टू एंश्योर दैट आवर हायर एजुकेशन एंड इट्स क्वालिटी इज़ रिलेवेंट टू द सोसाइटल नीड्स। तो इस तरह के राष्ट्र की जो नीति होती है, समाज की जो ज़रूरतें होती है, शिक्षा की ज़रूरतें होती है, वो ज़रूरतें शिक्षा संस्थाएं उसके ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं, रिसर्च हो रहा है, टीचिंग हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है कि नहीं हो रहा है, इसका मूल्यांकन करने का काम राष्ट्रीय मूल्यांकन एवं प्रत्यायन परिषद करता है। सो NAC हैज़ बीन डूइंग दिस फॉर लास्ट 25 years and we see to it that whatever is being taught in colleges and universities is relevant to the society, is aligned to the national policies, and not only to the national policies but also to the international realities। तो इस मुझे लगता है कि रीचा जी ने और यहाँ की जो टीम है उन्होंने सोचा रहेगा कि NAC को इसमें शामिल किया जाए ताकि इसके बारे में हर एक शिक्षा संस्था में और प्रेरणा मिले, प्रेरणा ना मिले तो डंडे से काम हो जाए। तो इस बहाने से मुझे बुलाया, मैं आभारी हूँ कि दे हैव इनवाइटेड मी। Just to give a brief perspective, let me start with what Shastri ji was telling about why we should teach or talk only in our mother tongue or our national languages. I have been to Japan recently. Government of Japan has invited me as a research professor in their national accreditation organization. I spent a year over there. What I realized that इट इज़ अ मिथ। यहाँ पे बहुत सारे लोग ऐसे बोलते हैं कि आपको अगर रिसर्च करना है, इफ़ यू वांट टू गेन एक्सेप्टेंस अराउंड द वर्ल्ड, इफ़ यू वांट टू प्रोड्यूस द क्वालिटी थिंग्स, क्वालिटी लिटरेचर और रिसर्च, इट हैज़ टू बी डन इन इंग्लिश। आई हैव स्पेंट अ ईयर इन जापान एंड आई कैन टेल यू दैट दिस इज़ अटर लाई। Japanese people, I have been to many universities and I was in the national accreditation organization of the country. Not a single word of English they use in their teaching, in their research, and in their evaluation also. The body like NAC, they have their entire accreditation process is in Japanese only. I was observer of the evaluation that was taking place of a Japanese University of Foreign Languages. So it was expected that at least in that university, which university is supposed to promote languages from around the world, बहुत सारे जग की भाषाएं उस यूनिवर्सिटी में पढ़ाई जाती है, इंक्लूडिंग इंडियन लैंग्वेजेस। एंड आई वाज सरप्राइज्ड टू सी इन देयर लाइब्रेरी देयर वाज ए बिग वॉल्यूम्स ऑफ डिक्शनरी ऑफ वन मराठी एक्सपर्ट written 100 years back. They have some 20 plus volumes. That Marathi is my mother tongue. So I was surprised. I have not seen it in Maharashtra, in my own state, for such a long time. But वहाँ पे वो था. So I think Japan में they have proved it to the world that they can. Nobody can dispute the quality of the Japanese education or Japanese society as such. So they have proved that, of course, I will come to the second part of that, कि it doesn't mean that they hate English. In fact, after the Second World War, when Japan was completely destroyed and they wanted to rebuild the entire thing, it was determined. They sent a delegation of eminent people for years. A large number of academicians, industrialists, several people went around the world in search of good practices. And I have learned in my little association with Japan that they have this habit. They collect whatever they can collect from the West. Whatever is the best, they collect it. But they mold it in a typical Japanese way and deliver a better product, and what they add to that entire thing is their value system. Japanese value system, as sir बोल रहे थे, कि ये जो बचपन से होता है, ये स्कूल में, ये कॉलेज में कोई वैल्यू सिस्टम नहीं देता, ये घर में होता है, ये हम किस तरह से बस में बिहेव करते हैं, मेट्रो स्टेशन पे बिहेव करते हैं, यहाँ पे एजुकेशन, वैल्यू एजुकेशन होता है. और जापान में, बिकॉज माई डॉटर वॉज स्टडिंग देयर इन किंडरगार्टन, मैंने देखा है कि वहाँ पे कुछ नहीं पढ़ाते, ना ABCD पढ़ाते हैं, ना 1 2 3. पहले 2-3 साल ओनली एंड ओनली मॉरल एजुकेशन, हाउ टू बिहेव विथ फैमिली मेंबर्स, हाउ टू बिहेव विथ सोसाइटी मेंबर्स, एक दूसरों के साथ कैसे बिहेव करना है. तो इट इज़ वेरी सरप्राइजिंग एंड दैट इज़ समथिंग परहैप्स मुझे लगता है कि ये हमने लेना चाहिए, कि ना कि हम यूनिवर्सिटी और कॉलेज को फोर्स करें कि जो बच्चे पहले से ही बिगड़ चुके हैं उनको अभी वैल्यू एजुकेशन का एक इंजेक्शन दे दो या वैक्सीनेशन दे दो. ऐसे नहीं होने वाला है. तो आई कंकर विथ ऑल दी पैनलिस्ट दैट ये बचपन से होना चाहिए, सोसाइटल होना चाहिए, और राइट फ्रॉम ज़ीरो. मतलब जैसे अभिमन्यु ने अपनी माँ की कोख से सीखा था, उस तरह ये वैल्यू एजुकेशन आना चाहिए. IKS का ये सब आना चाहिए. Let me come to my business, that is about accreditation and how NAC can facilitate this entire process. I'll start again with one example, and that's how Richa ji perhaps thought of inviting me. We have done a very important initiative in terms of yoga. आपको सबको पता है योगा इज़ द गिफ्ट ऑफ द वर्ल्ड टू द इंडिया, लेकिन आज योगा इज़ $1 billion इंडस्ट्री इन द वर्ल्ड, एंड उसमें से 90% रेवेन्यू इंडिया में नहीं जाता, वो US में जाता है, UK में जाता है, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में जाता है. जिनका भारतीय ज्ञान परंपरा से कोई दूर दूर से ताल्लुक नहीं है, ऐसे लोग आज इंटरनेशनल योगा इंस्टीट्यूशंस चला रहे हैं, उनको एक्रेडिटेशन दे रहे हैं और बिलियंस ऑफ डॉलर्स कमा रहे हैं. तो ये ग्लोबली हो रहा है, एंड टू काउंटर दैट एंड आल्सो टू रीगेन आवर ग्लोरी, एंड ऑफ कोर्स आवर बिलीव्ड प्राइम मिनिस्टर हैज डन दैट after the International Yoga Day was started. So we decided, under the guidance of Dr. Nagendra ji, who happens to be the yoga guru of our beloved Prime Minister, उनकी मार्गदर्शन में हमने NAC में एक संकल्प लिया, और we convened a global yoga higher education accreditation summit at United Nations. दुनिया भर के लोगों को बुलाया, योगा एक्सपर्ट्स को, और वहाँ पे हमने ये कोशिश की कि ये दिस इज़ द गिफ्ट ऑफ इंडिया, दिस इज़ द हेरिटेज ऑफ इंडिया, और उसे उस ऑथेंटिसिटी में, उस प्योरिटी में प्रेजेंट होना चाहिए, हायर एजुकेशन में आना चाहिए, रिसर्च में आना चाहिए. इसकी कोशिश हमने की. एज अ आउटकम ऑफ दैट we have come out with New York Bengaluru statement of yoga accreditation for mainstreaming of higher education through accreditation and collaboration. So ये एक इनिशिएटिव था कि भारत की ज्ञान परंपरा को ना सिर्फ इंटरनेशनली प्रमोट करे, बट उसका जो ऑथेंटिसिटी है उसको प्रिजर्व करने की कोशिश करे. उसमें एक जो इम्पॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट ऑफ एक्रेडिटेशन है वो लाना चाहिए. सर भी बार बार बोल रहे थे कि ऑथेंटिक क्या है, व्हाट इज, बाहर बहुत सारी चीज़ें बिकती है, इट इज़ नॉट नेसेसरी दैट दे आर ऑथेंटिक. तो यहाँ पे भी जो भी क्रिटिसिज्म बहुत कभी कभी आते हैं, वेन एवर अ क्लेम इज मेड अबाउट something was already done in our ancient system, immediately the media will be abound with, reverse criticism कि ये फेंक रहे हैं, ये कर रहे हैं, वो कर रहे हैं. इसीलिए शास्त्री जी भी अच्छी तरह से बोल रहे थे कि जिस पे विवाद ना हो, निर्विवाद तरीके से हम लोगों के सामने कुछ तथ्य और कुछ सत्य अगर प्रेजेंट करना चाहते हैं तो उसका जरिया है ग्लोबली एक्सेप्टेड मीन्स इज एक्रेडिटेशन. Accreditation is globally required. Everything, if it is nursing, if it is take it any profession, now accreditation is required. Agar aap because there is a market, there is now a cyber market also, and if there is one good person, there are 90 evils around the planet. So you need to differentiate between, जिसे हम संस्कृत में कहते हैं निरक्षीर विवेक. जो निरक्षीर विवेक का काम जो है ये प्रत्यायन करता है, मूल्यांकन करता है. एंड मुझे लगता है अगर IKS को हम इस मूल्यांकन, प्रत्यायन, एक्रेडिटेशन के कसौटी पे खरे उतरे, then I think perhaps not only we will be convince the so-called critics, those who are against bringing in or mainstreaming of Indian knowledge system into our higher education systems or school systems, और बाहर भी ये सत्य है. I have traveled widely around the world as the president of the international accreditation organizations over 60 countries, and I have realized that many of the things, yoga is one thing, but there are many other things which we are really good at. Take for example Ayurveda. We know that this is such a fantastic knowledge that has been given by our, it is part of our Indian knowledge system. बहुत सारे लोग पर्सनली आते हैं यहाँ पे, दे टेक ट्रीटमेंट, लेकिन बाहर की मेडिकल फैटर्निटी दे आर हेल बेंट टू अपोज इट, टू एक्सेप्ट एज अ मेडिकल प्रैक्टिस. बहुत ही कम कंट्रीज है जहाँ पे आयुर्वेदा इज एक्सेप्टेड एज अ मेडिकल ऑफिशियल मेडिकल प्रैक्टिस इन द कंट्री. उनको रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं करते. बहुत सारे कंट्री, जितने भी मेन स्ट्रीम है मेजर कंट्रीज है, वहाँ पे इसको रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं करते. सो आई थिंक इन इंडिया ऑल्सो वी हैड अ ह्यूज प्रॉब्लम. जैसे इनिशियली व्हेन इट वाज डिसाइडेड दैट, ये जब आयुष्मान भारत की स्कीम आई तो उसमें एक प्लान था कि ये आयुर्वेदिक डॉक्टर्स को सब जगह पे लगाया जाए. तो देन दी सो कॉल्ड कोर और मेन स्ट्रीम पीपल, दे अपोज्ड इट. You cannot equate them with us. Sir is there, he can explain that. But I think it was vehemently opposed. So our own system was opposed, and उसके reasons जो बताए जाते हैं, ये reasons ये है कि you do not follow the scientific practices. Where are the control studies? Where are the clinical trials? The modern society demands that. So the modern society, if you want to reach to the modern world, so-called in whatever terms, if you want to become acceptable and in true sense, then perhaps we have to fight them with their own tools. हम अपनी पीठ थपथपा के सिर्फ काम नहीं चलेगा. जैसे कहते हैं 2 साल के बाद अगर कुछ हो जाएगा, पलट जाएगा, तो फिर पलट जाएगा, लोग भूल जाएंगे कि ऐसा कुछ था. तो मेरे ख्याल से वी हैव टू फाइट दिस सो कॉल्ड मोनोपोली, एकेडमिक मोनोपोली ऑफ द आउटसाइड वर्ल्ड विथ टूल्स दैट have been accepted by the modern world. Like accreditation is one such tool. I am aware that मैं बहुत ही एक छोटे से मुद्दे पे बात कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन मैं उस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का रिप्रेजेंट करता हूँ, इसलिए बताना चाहता हूँ कि ये बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है. अगर हमको विद इन कंट्री एंड आउटसाइड कंट्री IKS को मेन स्ट्रीम में इंटीग्रेट करना है, तो वी हैव टू फॉलो द साइंटिफिक टेनर ऑफ एवरीथिंग. उसकी हर एक चीज़ को उसमें बैलेंस करके फिर सिस्टम में लाना चाहिए. एक्रेडिटेशन एक इम्पॉर्टेंट चीज़ उसमें है. देर आर अदर सो मेनी इम्पॉर्टेंट थिंग्स लाइक एंगेजिंग विद देम, convincing them and convincing that such balance is required. I can tell you that maybe America has not accepted Ayurveda as a medicinal practice, but the Harvard has a school of integrative medicine in which Ayurveda experts are teaching, operating, they are doing everything. So जहाँ पे उनको ज़रूरत है वहाँ पे वो ले लेते हैं. So I think we could use these examples everywhere and try to see that it is not that our ancient science or ancient wisdom is not true to the tests of the today's parameters. We have to come to the today's parameters and prove it to the world. And उसमें I think NAC might help Just to let people, because it is a faculty development program, सारे शिक्षक जो है वो होंगे इस प्रोग्राम में. NAC has already taken an initiative और हमारे डायरेक्टर जो शर्मा जी है उन्होंने ये रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी मुझे सौंपी थी कि IKS का और NEP के बाद NEP में जो भी कुछ आया है उसका तुरंत कैसे इंटीग्रेशन NAC के फ्रेमवर्क में किया जाए. तो हमने ये कर लिया है. 1 दिसंबर से हमारे सारे मैनुअल में देयर विल बी क्वेश्चंस ऑन दी IKS. और इसमें ये जो डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन की बात कर रहे थे वो हमने ऐसे ही क्वेश्चंस पूछे हैं कि आप क्या कर रहे हैं, आप क्या स्टेप्स ले रहे हैं कि इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम को आप प्रिजर्व कर रहे हैं, उसमें रिसर्च कर रहे हैं, उसमें बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस क्या है. तो वी एक्सपेक्ट कि हमारा ये अनुभव है पिछले 10 साल का, जब NAC एक सवाल पूछता है तो यूनिवर्सिटीज़ कॉलेजेस सब सारे दौड़ने लगते हैं कि उसको करने के लिए. तो हम ये उम्मीद करते हैं कि NAC ने IKS का इंट्रोडक्शन किया है अपने प्रोसेस में, और हमें उम्मीद है कि अगले 5 साल में यूनिवर्सिटीज़ एंड कॉलेजेस वुड कम अप विथ वेरियस वेज एंड मीन्स टू इंटीग्रेट IKS इनटू देयर सिस्टम्स. थैंक यू वेरी मच. नमस्कार.
एक हमें पहले क्या था इसके बजाय कैसे उसको प्राप्त किया था उसके बारे में ज़्यादा सोचना चाहिए, एक अंश. दूसरा, पहले जो भी विद्यालय थे ये सब प्रयोगालय थे, अभी कुछ मंदिर बना है. संस्कृत के बारे में बता रहा हूं. पहले वो प्रयोगालय था, अभी वो मंदिर बना है, पूजा का स्थान बना है. IKS भी पूजा का स्थान बना है, आदर का गौरव का स्थान बना है, प्रशंसा का स्थान बना है. वो नहीं, हमें प्रयोगालय में इसको परिवर्तित करना चाहिए. अंत में केवल एक उदाहरण बताता हूं. गोवा में एक पॉलिटेक्निक कॉलेज में, ITI कॉलेज में प्रोफेसर लेक्चरर उस समय अभी गुजर गए, यंग एज में, तबीयत ठीक नहीं था. शेखर नार्वेकर उनका नाम था. सिद्धांत शिरोमणि ग्रंथ में कई प्रकार के यंत्रों का वर्णन है. वहां जो यंत्रों का वर्णन है उसके आधार पर उन्होंने 14 मॉडल डेवलप किया था. 2 मॉडल का केवल एक वाक्य में. एक मॉडल ये था जो 4 व्हीलर में फ्रंट व्हील्स का अलाइनमेंट करते हैं ना, उसके लिए उन्होंने सिद्धांत शिरोमणि के आधार पर एक यंत्र का उन्होंने निर्माण किया. एक और एक सिंपल काष्ठ का, लकड़ी का एक उपकरण है, हाथ में लेके जा सकते हैं, कहीं भी रखिए. उससे उन्होंने दूर में जो बड़ा बिल्डिंग है 30 मंजिल का, 20 मंजिल का, कितने मंजिल का, उस बिल्डिंग का हाइट यहां से वो माप के बता सकते हैं. ऐसे उपकरण को उन्होंने डेवलप किया. उन्होंने पानी से चलने वाला घड़ी निर्माण किया था. पानी एक बार, वो बार बार पानी डालने का नहीं, वो निरंतर 24 घंटे वो चलता है घड़ी. गुवाहाटी IIT में जो टेक्नोलॉजी एक्सपो हुआ था उसमें उन इंडिजिनस कुछ इसमें सेक्शन में उनको बेस्ट मॉडल ऐसा पेपर ऐसा उनको पुरस्कार भी मिला था. मेरा कहने का तात्पर्य है, इस प्रकार के कई एक्सपेरिमेंट्स अगर करेंगे तो विषय आगे बढ़ेगा. दोबारा समय लिया, क्षमा चाहता हूँ.
It is not like that doctors don't like Ayurvedic medicine. If you look at the Ayush ministry, which started 2005, they have about 300 crores of research project. कोई नहीं लेता है. और ज़्यादा से रिसर्च हमारा ऑल इंडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ मेडिकल साइंस दिल्ली करता है. I had taken 2 projects. One is the migraine, intractable migraine, and did the Ayurvedic study some by there. तो ये नहीं है कि we do not like. We are the doctors, we want a patient must be cured from his suffering, pain and his diseases. It doesn't matter whether immune system is by vaccine or by tulsi or by aloe vera. It doesn't matter. So that is not true. I have done 2 studies, yoga and backache at AIIMS, Bhubaneswar, and it's published in International Journal of Yoga. Because we had employed at AIIMS Bhubaneswar, when I was director there, homeopathic doctor, Ayurvedic doctor and yoga teacher, yoga trainer and a yoga teacher for patient cure. So there is a traditional medicine with, that is the concept of Government of India, Minister of Health. And if you go back to BHU, Dr. Udupa, K.N. Udupa, I don't know how many of you know. K.N. Udupa was an Ayurvedic doctor who went to UK in maybe late 50s and did FRCS, and he became the director of medical sciences in BHU. And if you go to BHU, in the ground floor of the medical college, there is Ayurvedic beds. So both can go together. And one has to see a patient wants to be treated by Ayurvedic doctor, homeopathic doctor or a allopathic doctor, so that he should have option and choice is yours. I can force you the allopathic medicine. If you come to my hospital, I have Ayurveda, I have homeopathy and allopathy, you choose. So that should be there. It should be enforced. Otherwise, in competition, it is very difficult to stand with allopathic medicine, because it is so much hurt in the human brain that these systems will take longer time. It doesn't give the immediate cure. This is for long-term effect. So homeopathic Ayurvedic doesn't have role. It's not true. It is our system which has told us this is bad, that is good. So you have to choose. Choice is yours. Again, everything you have to make your own choice. Thank you.
I think that this is largely a matter of political will. Now, he mentioned about Ayurveda, that it is integrated, it can be integrated. Now, my question is very simple. Why can't the relevant minister and Government of India decide that 2 years from now, for every MBBS course, there will be at least 6 months of teaching of the fundamentals of Ayurveda and how the Ayurvedic system works, so that idiots from MBBS and from allopathic associations don't come on television and say that Ayurveda is a non-scientific thing. Now, this is a matter of political will. It's not a matter of choice. I'll give you another example. Why can't there be a push from UGC that every department of economics is also going to teach Arthashastra as a fundamental text, part of your history of economics, fundamental text of economics? Why can't you teach them the first line of Arthashastra? What is it, Shastri ji? Anivikshiki trayi varta dandanitischcha iti vidya. Now, this is a radically different concept from any modern economics department. So I personally think we are beating about the bush for almost 70 years. I have read reports of Rajni Kothari, I have read reports of Congress regime people, and we're still beating about the bush. It's a fundamental decision that the political leadership has to take. We have to take the bull by the horns. I have given you 2 examples from Ayurveda and from Arthashastra. This applies to every Shastra. You can teach Natya Shastra in language departments, Sanskrit department में भी नहीं पढ़ाया जाता साहब. You can teach it in English department, Telugu department, etc. Similarly, you can teach various other Shastras in chemistry and this and that department, where alloys and various other things are teaching. This is just a matter of political will which can be implemented within a matter of 6 months.
सबसे बड़ी बात क्या है, छोटा सा मैं, एक तो बड़ी अच्छी लगी नाम, क्या ऋचा ने नेक को डॉक्टर पाटिल कह रहे थे ना, इसलिए इनवाइट किया है कि ये नेक से पकड़ के ये नेक को इंट्रोड्यूस करें, दोनों नेक मिल जाते हैं, दैट्स. पर मैं सोच रहा था हम सब्जेक्ट क्या है. दिस इज इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम. इंडियन नॉलेज सिस्टम, ये नॉलेज है. वो सिस्टम क्या है जिस सिस्टम से हम इसको फिर वापस अपने कल्चर में, अपने फैमिलीज में, अपने बच्चों में हम उसको इंट्रोड्यूस करें. उसका कुछ क्लीन डिफाइंड एक तरीका एक इंट्रोड्यूस करना पड़ेगा, सोचना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि हजारों साल की गुलामी के बाद हम आज भी गुलाम हैं। 700 साल तो दिस मुस्लिम रूलर्स ने राज किया, हमारा कल्चर नहीं दे पाए, वीक कर दिया था। और 150 साल या 200 साल दिस ब्रिटिश रिजाइम सब कुछ ले गई है। करेक्टर बिल्डिंग की बात आती है, डिसिप्लिन की बात आती है, ऑनेस्टी की बात आती है। Everything starts with in the family. When you teach your son, you teach your sons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for those comments. I see that there is another question.
Namaste, my name is Amrit, and ideally I would like to get a view on this from everyone in the panel, but I will pose this question to Sir Dr. Bharat Gupta sir. So my question is that how do we mitigate for a degree of insularity that we possess as a civilization? By which I mean that we are a people who invented Sanskrit, but we do not participate in comparative linguistics. You yourself have talked about how the Greeks were not part of Western civilization, they were part of the Indo-European civilization. But who amongst us really cares about comparative mythology the way perhaps Westerners have? So one, would you agree that this is a fair characterization of our civilization? And if yes, then how do we mitigate for this? How do we ensure that this doesn't again start to characterize us or limit us while we are trying to revive IKS itself within our society?
Well, I'll give you a very brief answer. Right now, what has happened is, I'm sorry to say this, most people may not like it, but we are in our country right now suffering from a peculiar problem. The problem is that our political class is far more backward than our other professional classes. They are, as a matter of fact, even more backward than the ordinary people. Look, an ordinary Punjabi would like to settle in Tamil Nadu. But the Tamil Nadu chief minister is not very comfortable if too many Punjabis come and settle. It's the same vice versa. So, you have fallen behind somewhere radically. And unless this problem is addressed, who will address this problem? The people will address. The people will have to stand up and say, कि भैया आप हर काम के लिए हमसे क्वालिफिकेशन मांगते हो और अभी तक इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में एमपी बनने के लिए एलिजिबिलिटी क्या है वो लिखा नहीं है. So we'll have to ask for these things. And what you say, solution will come there.
I think I was only telling MBBS, Ayurveda and homeopathy are 5.5 years course. All of us, whether MBBS student, Ayurvedic student or homeopathy student, read human anatomy. शरीर का क्या गठन है, शरीर का फिजियोलॉजी क्या है, डिजीज क्या है, रोग का सिम्टम्स क्या है. आपका कोविड आयुर्वेदिक के लिए जो सिम्टम्स है, एलोपैथिक वही सिम्टम्स है. खांसी होगा, जुकाम हुआ, फेफड़ा में बलगम जम जाएगा, श्वास नहीं पाएगा, सब एक ही है. So if you look at the medical education, diagnostic, even today for backache, Ayurvedic doctor sent for the CT and MRI. So CT तो आयुर्वेद में था नहीं. So we have intermixed both Ayurvedic, homeopathic and allopathic. When it suits us, we use. When it doesn't suit us, that's bad. That's not good. So only difference between homeopathic, Ayurvedic and allopathy is that we follow pharmacology, pharmacopoeia, they follow materia medica, and Ayurvedic follow herbal or dhatu, loha, bhasma, swarna, raupa, जो भी है. So Ayurvedic medicine is different. The treatment method is diagnosis, human body, disease process is same. हम इसको टाइफाइड बोलते हैं, उसको संस्कृत में और कुछ लोग बोलते हैं. सिम्स तो एक ही है. So vast knowledge regarding the disease are same. Only treatment is different. So I don't feel the choice is patient. If a patient believes in a homeopathy, go to homeopathy. Doesn't matter. The cancer can be cured, right? I don't think that Ayurveda and homeopathy have no role in cancer. But then you say no, it's useless and doctor का जाऊंगा. Then don't blame the doctor who exploits you.
Thank you for those comments, and then, to again answers the question that you have raised about that insularity, that danger of becoming insular. I think one of the things that we need to recognize is, for the last so many years, so since that big famous 1835 movement, when Macaulay introduced all that in India, and even before that, I would say, perhaps another 150 years before that, last like 1650 to 1700. After that, you see, in the Indian knowledge systems, there has been no new texts written, no new bhashas written. So the kind of phase that we are in right now is we are in a preservation mode. We are not really inventing. This is essentially a way that we are trying to protect that very small stream that is flowing. That's all we are trying to do. We are preserving it. Right now, if you go to any scholar, you'll see they're not trying to think of new sutras. And to do new, whether we're talking about Vyakarna or whether we're talking about Darshana Shastra or anything, they're not talking about developing new darshanas for this contemporary world. They're just thinking about, okay, how do we preserve what was written so many years ago? That parampara, how do we protect? That is the kind of phase that we are right now in. And that was primarily also, if you think about it, historically, if you look at Angus Madison's reports and all that, very famous, when we were, our economy was, India's economy was 25% of the global economy and all that, and we came down around 1700s. If you look at it, this corresponds to the stoppage of this Indian, the innovation in the Indian knowledge systems coincides exactly with that decline in the economic situation of our country. So we were, as a country, we were really worried about our survival essentially. That 1,000 years of exploitation has a cost. We have to pay cost, and it is cumulative. So right now we are, although we may think that we are, right now we are essentially, if you think about it, my grandfather's generation, for example, they were worried about whether they will get 2 square meals or not. My father's generation was worried about whether they will get a job or not. Not 2 square meals. Now it's a little improvement. I was not, for me, it was whether I will get a better job or not. Now for my children, it will not be a better job or not. They have that mind space to think about beyond the basic needs of that. We look at that pyramid. So I think, so that insularity is a symptom of all these things that has happened. I don't think it is inherently we are, for a civilization that talks of Ano Bhatro Kratavo Yantu Vishwara, let the ideas come from everywhere. I don't think we are insular by our culture. It is the circumstances that is basically we are ring-fencing ourselves to protect what is the core of our knowledge systems. And I think with the improving economic prosperity, that is why it is important to think about it in a systemic way and then say that we have to be strong. And as our very respected former president, Shri Abdul Kalam ji had said, only strength respects strength. Whether you talk about economic strength, political strength, military strength, we need to develop that national comprehensive strength. And unless that happens, we cannot think of reviving all these things. These things go hand in hand. So I think thinking of IKS as something separate is not a good idea. It needs to go with building up our country's strength. And slowly you will see. So if you think about it, 50 years ago, people were not questioning about why should I take the Western theories as it is. We were accepting it. Now we are questioning it. So this is inherent. So I think that insularity is a symptom of our weakness, general weakness that was there, and I think that will go away as we go forward. And I'm very optimistic. And I see this thing. There was a Twitter exchange a few days ago. I don't know, with Professor Anand from JNU, is a biochemistry, Anand Ranganathan. He was talking about a train, showing a picture of train and saying, this is not Europe, this is not Sweden, this is India. And somebody questioned him, why do you say this is not Europe? Why do you have to bring them in? Why can't we be the best? So I think that questioning itself is a very good symptom of our society, that we are awakening. And a giant culture that has, I mean, like civilizationally, we have been sleeping for a millennia, not half rather. So wake up next time. And when we wake up, it will be for the welfare of the world. That is the difference between India waking up and some other countries waking up. They become dragons or whatever, lizards or whatever. But we will become the benign Kamadhenu for the world. So with those words, I would like to, if there are any last comments, with those words, I would like to thank you all for patiently listening. This was the last session of the day. I know you are all tired. Still you listen. So thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to I'd like to thank my very distinguished panel. So let's give them a